are subject to market risk. Read all the documents carefully before investing.
Okay, welcome back. 260 points higher, 16,600 is where the index is at. There has been a 100-odd point swing in the last hour or so that we've been on air on this program. So this has been up and down quite a bit over. But what's the chatter from the dealing rooms? I mean, are funds, foreign funds especially, starting to make a comeback? We got a big bounce yesterday, but I mean, there was still a sell number from the FI side. Nimesh, of course, has been working the phones. He's joining us on, what he's picking up from dealing rooms. Nimesh.
Hi, Prashant. So, as you rightly pointed out, a bit volatile in the last couple of hours of trade. Again, it looks like 16,800 is acting as a very strong resistance on the upside. But at the same time, closer to 16,400, you're seeing some buying emerging as well. So that's been the range for the last couple of hours. In terms of flows, again, a day when there are more buys than sell is what I understand from dealing room. So maybe we'll not see a large buy figure from the FIs, but the sell figure is expected to be much lower than what we saw yesterday. In terms of buying, the buying is very, very specific by the larger FIs. So within financials, there are only a few private banks that have been well bidded. There is some bit of buying in autos as well, and some FMCG stocks have been bought after the recent correction. So that's very specific buying is what happening from the larger FIs. I guess after the big move in the last 2 days, maybe the focus will again shift to geopolitical news as well as on what happens to the commodity price, because crude will be a big factor for the Indian markets as well. So that's something all eyes are on. But largely from today's point of view, a bit of short covering rally, but I guess there is a bit of buying as well, but very, very selective in some large private banks as well as in FMCG companies.
Okay, all right. What about stock specific, Nimesh? What are you picking up?
Hi, Nigel. So, it looks like today is a day for platform companies, especially the exchange companies. So the first stock on my radar is MCX. That stock is buzzing in trade today. Yesterday in the block deal data, it looked like capital was a big seller. Looks like that selling is likely getting over, and there is a bit of buying interest back in that particular stock. Remember, MCX is one of the big beneficiaries of this big moves in commodities, and that's where IIFL and MCX are quite bullish on. So that's the first stock. Second stock is DLF. Within the real estate names, that stock is stand out today in terms of buy flows. Again, this sharp correction in the stock price was nicely used by one of the influential HNI investor to accumulate at lower levels. So there is a bit of interest back in that particular stock. That's the second one. Third stock is BSE. Very surprise move in that particular stock. It's up 18% in today's trade. Large volumes have been traded. Looks like one of the large funds seems to be quite very active buyer today. Otherwise, it doesn't explain that kind of volumes in that particular stock. So that's the third stock. Big gains on very large volumes in BSE today. And the last stock is Aurobindo Pharma. Again, repeatedly I keep getting feedback that there is supply pressure coming from larger FIs into Aurobindo Pharma. One of the large HNIs also sold out completely. At the same time, one of the domestic insurance companies is an active buyer. So there is a bit of support at lower levels, but there is supply as well from larger FIs in Aurobindo Pharma.
Okay, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that update. The market is, there's no 3 p.m. move this time like there was last time, but a couple of stocks looking very interesting now. Once again, Chambal Fertilizers has moved to high point of the day. Pidilite has made a decent move in today's trade, and the metals move is continuing. Now Jindal Steel and Power, that's moved to high point. Astral is an FNO stock now, that's also moving to high point of the day. So a lot of individual stock moves is what you're seeing right now on the screen. BDST calls then, Mitesh is back for that. Mitesh, so what would be your calls now?
Anuj, two calls on the buy side, BTST on SBI Life. I think that's the stock which is nicely breaking out on the hourly charts right now, and could see good continuation for tomorrow and day after. So SBI Life is a BTST with a stop at about 1044 and a target of 1065 is what I would look for on the upside. And State Bank of India itself, SBI, that's